been a derelict. All my friends, they wish me dead. They wish me dead. Every day is filled with dread. Filled with dread. All my life been a derelict. I've got the demon clue. Swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss through feels so typical. I've got the demon clue. Swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss through feels so typical. My life been a derelict. Never change, yeah, I swear to it. And of all the times I've been down and out, this time was different, I welcomed it. Every day that I fail to quit, I wind up here in just state I'm in. The heavy weight, cause it's bound to break. I need a break, the skin I'm in. Tip of my tongue tastes like battery acid. Try to push forward, I cannot push past it. Feel the blood on my tongue, it tastes metallic. Another day passes, I don't break the habit. I've got the demon clue. Swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss through feels so typical. I've got the demon clue. Swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss through feels so typical. So typical. I've got the demon clue. Swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss through feels so typical. I've got the demon clue. Swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss through feels so typical. There's been plenty of moments that I fell in hard times. More often than not, getting faded was my lifeline. I realized that I've always struggled with change, but sometimes you gotta rearrange before you go insane. I've been doing my best to stay true to myself, put my next foot forward and smoking dope for my health. I never give up the music till I'm rolling in wealth. Some days I swear this basement's my own personal hell. Well, I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you. I confess I'm obsessed with the sex. Heart palpitations every time that she texts. I admit that we ain't always been the best for each other, but what is love without the little test? Girl, you know you're my sneaky link. When I'm with you, my ego shrink. I'm just craving time for us alone. I think about you every time I'm home smoking dope. I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Glad to see some of you here. A couple things I'm going to say to start the stream. It's here. We're finally in a bull market, opening up Bitcoin. It's been a long time coming. For those of you that have stuck along the whole journey, awesome, right? We've been waiting for this. We've been anticipating this. For those of you that don't know, we turned macro bullish and started buying this whole range. There's tweets, there's buys, everything to prove it. If you need to see it, go back and look on Twitter. Regardless, super excited. When I started my Twitter, I believe it was over here, and initially thought we'd kind of blast off, came down, longed this, actually sold it a little early, kind of gave calls and got very, very toppy around here, played the whole bear market, got bullish around here, very much macro bullish. I wouldn't say, and I'll admit this, I didn't know the bottom was in here. I said, hey, the bottom's probably close though. You never really know where the bottom is, and you don't want to operate in absolutes, especially when you're trading. So took a chance, started longing at 17.5, pretty much longed everything between 15 and 25K. It's paying off exponentially. I shared a picture of my portfolio earlier this morning, and it's up 1,100%. So, I'm seeing a lot of, which is kind of surprising, seeing a lot of negative feedback. I understand that, I was calling for correction or downturn here. I had a lot of reasons. We've gone over them on stream. I won't go over all of them. But lo and behold, BlackRock's been buying, and now we're just seeing blast off, right? There's really not a whole lot of TA you can do when something like that happens. You're seeing a massive supply shock, or basically, if you think about anything in life, when demand is through the roof and there are less and less available, that means price has to go up, which is what we're seeing right now. But super excited. The bull market's here. Ultimately, my confirmation point was breaking all-time highs, right? Could I have said, hey, we're probably going to go into a bull market within the next year at this point, or even at this point? Yes, potentially. But to confirm the bull market, you have to break all-time highs. A bull market does not exist until you're breaking prior all-time highs. So congratulations to those of you that have stuck around, to those of you that took chances and longed with me, or even longed on your own terms. It's excellent work. It's very early. Guys, look how many people are watching the stream right now. There's 26 viewers, right? Usually I have about 100, people come in later on in the stream, but regardless, between 25 and 100, nobody cares that Bitcoin broke all-time highs. My friends aren't texting me. My parents aren't texting me. I was actually at someone's house on Saturday, and somehow, crypto got brought up because some people are aware of what's happening. And someone said, well, what's the price of Bitcoin? And we had said 70,000. And they're like, wait, really? This isn't even on people's radar yet. And for me, it feels like we're here, right? And we still have a long way to go, honestly. I just don't see the FOMO or the retail interest. No one cares yet. Altcoins also haven't moved at all. I mean, altcoins have definitely moved some. Don't get me wrong. Like Gala last week, 150%. Doge has gone up 100%. What else? Fetch is obviously doing good. Tal's doing good. Ajax is doing good. BNB is doing pretty decent right now. Yeah, I mean, some of these have moved decently, but they're not even on par with how Bitcoin's performed over the last almost 2 years. But what's up, Dorian? How you doing, man? Always like to see you here. Fights, dude. Those fights were pretty solid. I know you and I already talked about it, but I hope 300's a lot better, because I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen a super entertaining fight in the UFC in a while. I haven't seen, a brawl. The best fight I've ever seen was Volkanovski and Ortega. It was 2 or 3 years ago. Dude, that was the most amazing fight I've ever seen. by a landslide. We haven't seen one of those in a while. I think we're overdue for it. The wait really response is what gets me every time. Yeah, I mean, people don't even pay attention. Did you buy Tau from Uniswap? No, I bought Tau from Bitget and then Coincatch. It was actually listed on Bitget, and then for those of you that don't know, I actually had Coincatch list Tau for me, so I could move it from Bitget to Coincatch and keep all my stuff there. I still use Bitget. I'm still partnered with Bitget, but I've moved and condensed a lot of my trading and long-term holding to Coincatch. So, and again, for those of you that don't understand, when your portfolio is larger, you should be using multiple exchanges because, this is a tough reality in crypto. And even though I work with some of these exchanges, you never know when someone's going to stab you in the back, and you don't want all your eggs in one basket. It's like the same thing with FTX. Everyone trusted FTX. FTX this, FTX that. I didn't. Fucking guy was shaking in every single interview he was in. But regardless, a lot of people trusted him, and a lot of people lost their ass on that because they had all of their eggs in one basket. So my stuff's spread around between 4 and 5 exchanges. It's never all on one. So maybe I'll post, one trade from one exchange that you guys see, but you don't realize that there's 5 other exchanges doing the same thing. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but it keeps your money safe. It was a long winter, but now here comes the sun. Yeah, exactly. Super cycle incoming? I don't know about that one. I followed your tip from File, still hoping for a rise. File's up like 30% from where I originally called it out. My biggest bag, I'm very bullish on it. I mean, we're pretty bullish on it. Roman, why should people be bullish about Bitcoin breaking all-time high if altcoins not going to 50 to 100x? Most retail come when prices go crazy. I mean, that's true. You're very much right. But if you're well educated in the space, you know that when Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, alts are right around the corner. Now, right around the corner is like 6 months, but that's not that long, right? For a lot of people, 6 months goes by and like nothing. Plus, we're approaching the summer. For those who don't know, in the summer is generally when alts go absolutely crazy. Like most summers, the alts do pretty well. Coinbase isn't even the top 150 apps yet. Retail is not here. I thought Coinbase was. I thought Coinbase was in the top 150. I mean, regardless, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm not seeing any engagement. I mean, we're at 50 people watching the stream. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because so you can use TA to take profits in the bull run, but you really take profits when your grandma's hitting you up asking to buy Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's at 150K. So for me, it's like, hey, if you were to ask me, when are you selling? Right? Well, obviously when everything pumps ridiculously. But let's say all of these things do 10x's. Let's just keep it very simple. Everything on my list here does a 10x, right? I'm probably going to sell anyways, but let's say it all does a 10x and then I live stream and there's 500 people viewing or 1,000. Or all of my tweets are now getting, I usually get like 10 to 20,000 engagement. It just depends on the tweet. Let's say I'm getting 100 to 150K engagement. And now instead of being at 52,000 followers, wherever I'm at, I'm now at like 80,000 because all these people are pouring in, right? That's when you sell, at least on my end. And sorry about the flickering light. Been having issues with the circuit board. So I can get up and try and fix it again, but it's my apologies. Yeah, there are some hidden gems in 300. Plus Perea fights, and I love Alex Perea. Is having in April, I'm pretty sure. What is your sentiment on DOT, given that it's still so far away from all-time high? I think there are plenty of altcoins that are still very far away from all-time highs, and they'll probably get close. I don't really, and I'll be very frank and honest, I don't really look at the project. Like, if it has history, like if it's an old kind of like an old school coin that's been around for a while and it has multiple bull markets under its belt and it generally performs pretty good, I'm probably going to buy it. Like even if EOS, so like EOS is one of them that we're in. We got in around here. If EOS goes to $5, we made a 5x, right? Almost 6x. So for me, it's less about the project and what the people are doing now. For AI, yes, we're in AI because it's AI. Everything AI related is going to absolutely moon, regardless, because we're in an AI kind of tech boom. Everything AI is going crazy. So that's kind of how I look at that, but don't focus too much on volume. I heard the exact same thing in 2021. There was decreasing volume while price kept climbing. Yeah, I know, but that's called bearish price action. Hold on, I'm going to try and fix these lights. So yeah, and let me show you something really cool. So why did I sell between 53 and 57? I mean, check it out. One, it's gonna make it real easy. One, we had divergences in RSI the whole time. Two, now I didn't see this at the time, but you actually have a ginormous head and shoulders here. I'll just pull it up on the daily, and you can see the volume on the daily. Pretty easy to tell. So here, you have this giant head and shoulders. Giant head and shoulders right there. You also have a giant rising wedge or ascending wedge. It's another bearish reversal pattern. On top of that, from the run to 40 to 60K, check this out. So from really here all the way to the top, you have volume declining. So, you have the bearish price action. You have the bearish reversal patterns. You have the bearish divergences. It was all there, right? It was all there to sell. So, if we get something similar, then I'll look to sell. Or at least I'll be putting in stop losses and, trying to keep my gains as high as I can. But trying to sell a top is impossible. Crypto speculation, but not Bitcoin. Bitcoin will last the next 100 years. Maybe if people are alive 100 years from now. In terms of market cap, do you think we'll see Bitcoin with 6 trillion or more market cap? Maybe. I don't know. XRP is pumping. I don't know if that's a good sign. I mean, everything's going to pump. What you're saying, because crypto is, I understand what you're saying, but crypto is speculation. It's not like stocks. I mean, a lot of stocks are speculation. I mean, the S&P 500 isn't necessarily speculation, but if you buy any tech firm or tech stock, you're speculating that company is going to do well. Isn't that the same thing? But anyways, let's do this very quick market analysis. I do have a slightly bearish, when I say bearish take, I mean like an intra lower time frame. Like we'll probably see some type of pullback in the near future. But let's start with S&P. Guys, I mean, we've been extremely bullish on this for a while. Nothing's really changed. New all-time high last week, but now it turned into a kind of spinning top. I'd like to see a bull flag and higher. Personally, I'd like to see some consolidation and higher. I think it'd be healthy. Plus, with the DXY, it would remove the potential double bottom, right? If SPX consolidates, DXY consolidates, that removes that double bottom, and then we can move lower, or at least range, right? Our other thing is we could range in here, and then when we break out, like stocks obviously go down. And my theory behind that, we're likely in the tail end of our 15-year long bull run, right? We'll likely see one more rise, meaning this could last 12 months, right? We could consolidate, go all the way to 7K, and then likely see some sideways over the next, decade or so. Don't use this as a basis of time. I like to draw it wider so you can see it, because if I draw it like this, it's going to be very hard to tell what's going on. But you can tell that every 10 to 15 years, we have these periods of sideways movement. You have obviously the 70s and 80s, and then you have the 2000s to 2008, and then we ripped upwards. We'll likely do that kind of same thing. We've been on that kind of same pattern. And it makes sense. If this was a lower time frame, right? Let's say this is a 15-minute time frame. You would expect this to consolidate at some point before going higher. So all is fair. I mean, I'm still very bullish on the year. I'm still very, very bullish on crypto. Obviously, BlackRock's buying a ton of Bitcoin, so Lot of positive things happening in the space. Total actually broke resistance, and I'm slightly surprised. You know, when I say slightly surprised, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh my God, Bitcoin's breaking out. What do? I never had a plan. Like I've had a plan. You know, I didn't think it would happen this fast, but we were buying years ago. A lot of you know this. Nowadays, everything moves faster. I agree. We might have a period of sideways, but I don't think 10 years. I mean, I'm just saying 10 years is a basis because it's been the basis. I don't really know. Like, guys, I'm not like a genie. Like, I don't know. I'm just using it as a basis. Don't take it so literally, but you'll likely see some kind of sideways over the next 3 to 5 years. Seems difficult to predict a market that rises on debt generated rather than an increase in productivity. Actually, that's not necessarily true. Our productivity has actually increased a lot, and a lot of the debt we have is working debt. It's not actually bad debt. So having debt, yes, bad. But you have good debt and bad debt, and a lot of that that good debt, it's not necessarily bad debt, but a lot of that debt we have is assisting our business being more productive. We're just not paying it off, which is kind of dumb, but maybe in some ways we don't have to, right? Who do we have to pay? There's no one that's going to make us suffer a consequence. But I agree with you a little bit, Avenger. I do believe probably in the next 20 to 30 years we're going to see a harsh shift. But when I say that, I don't know, because China and Russia also have their own problems. But the United States, we have all of these people that aren't willing to work, and they're lazy as shit, and they care too much about how they feel rather than just figuring it out. So I don't know. You know, I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but you know, I wouldn't say that in the current situation, a lot of the debt is really bad debt. Total 2 approaching resistance. I mean, guys, Bitcoin and Ethereum are really the only thing that's moving exponentially. So, but one thing for sure, volume's moving nicely, price is moving nicely. I mean, it's all looking great. And then total 3, just real quick. So we broke out 2 weeks ago, held it, retested, whatever, and now we're climbing to the next resistance. So the big key here is total 1, total 2, and total 3, aren't at resistance. So the idea is that when you hit resistance, you see that correction, you see that consolidation. And what I mean is, like, maybe we continue upwards a little bit, consolidate, and then go higher. I don't think it's going to be a year long. Again, don't use this down here as a basis for time. Just use it as like, hey, we'll probably go sideways for, I don't know, like 5-10 weeks and then continue higher. And again, a lot of that has to do with RSI, right? RSI is the highest it's ever been, or in quite a while, and it's at the third highest it's ever been, or excuse me, the fourth highest, because we have another peak here, the fourth highest it's been ever. So you're at a historical level. Generally, we see pullbacks, consolidation. That doesn't mean that the bull market is over. It just means, hey, keep your head on a swivel. There's a potential, pullback coming, and if we get one, you can load up, or you can look for a trade. So Tether, same thing, and just providing this confluence. You know, this is very, very bearish, which is very, very bullish for Bitcoin. I'm going to remove some of this. This is old scenario stuff. Fortunately, it didn't happen, but, you know, it is what it is. But the biggest takeaway, we are historically oversold. When are we going to see that correction? It's generally you correct. It doesn't matter what you're thinking. You can think Bitcoin's invincible, Bitcoin's this, Bitcoin's that. Eventually, you're going to correct. And here's what's going to happen. There's two types of people. There's one person that's going to look at that correction. They're going to panic because they've bought the top, because all they do is talk out their ass all day and say that indicators don't matter, and they're going to miss an opportunity. And then there's person number 2 that's been waiting for, which in fact, I'm person number 2. I'm very allocated in the market. You know, if we never get a pullback, that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. If I 10x my portfolio, it's retirement city for me. But regardless, I have dry powder on the side, either via swing trading or just, hey, some money, that can be put into spot and take advantage of buying some of this stuff. So if we get that pullback, and let's say like something like File or Digibyte or Crow drops like 20%, that's a buying opportunity. I mean, you look at something like Crow, that's probably going to pump until we correct. But what if Crow does this? What if Crow literally does this? That is a buying opportunity. On a macro time frame, that is a breakout and retest of a prior resistance level, turning it into support, which is, again, very, very bullish. I mean, we literally did it right here, right? This is a breakout, consolidation, retest, continue upwards, right? Breakout, maybe some consolidation, maybe we go down and correct. Again, very, very, very bullish. But let's talk Bitcoin. So clap yourself on the back if you bought low and you're chilling. You got nothing to worry about. I know a lot of you that took advantage of what I said 2 years ago are sitting here thanking it, or thanking yourself, maybe thanking me. Guys, I'm just a guy that posts on Twitter. Sometimes it's right and sometimes it's not. You're the one that pushed the buy button. You're the one that took on that risk. You're the one that, swam against the school when everyone was saying that Bitcoin was going to go to 12 and 3K or whatever it was. You decided to make that or take that chance and buy, which has exponentially paid off. I'm a 440-pound Turkish wrestler with cauliflower ears. I heard you do jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I've been doing jiu-jitsu off and on my whole life. 440 pounds. What are you, a sumo wrestler? Dude, you're all the power to you, but you are fucking huge if you're 440 pounds. How tall are you? We'll get to that in a minute. Would BlackRock not buying anymore be a sign of the top approaching? No. Not even close. I'm just still shocked by the giant sumo wrestler. That's crazy, dude. I mean, I'm sure you're pretty fit if you're a wrestler, regardless of how big you are. But damn, how much do you eat every day? Like, how much do you have to eat to maintain weight? That's pretty wild. Right, let's talk day and 4 hour, talk Bitcoin dominance, and then we'll get out of here. So, a couple things. One, I don't really see anything bad on the daily. I think we're going to remain in the area of overbought for quite a while. My issue is with the weekly and then the 4 hour. So the weekly, it'll open. The weekly is the third highest it's ever been, really like the second highest in RSI it's ever been. Doesn't mean we can't continue higher, right? And that also doesn't mean we can't just like continue to do this, right? There's nothing that says we can't do that. My problem is, right, when you see this overextension, you can't enter longs. You don't long this, right? I always try to make it very, very simple. You don't long this. You long this, right? You long all the red. You usually sell or continue to hold the green. But in a trading standpoint, like let's say we're trading, swing trading, whatever, we haven't had a setup. Our daily, we had one day that dropped and immediately got bought back up over a 3-day period. On top of that, you look at the 4 hour, and here's where I'm seeing some issues, right? As a trader, I would never long this, right? As a trader. Now, as a long-term spot investor, everything looks amazingly bullish, right? So here's the thing. You're going to divide two. So trader and then long-term, and I'll just put LI here. Long-term investor. Long-term meaning like a year, right? You bought low and you're trying to sell high. As a trader, we have volume going down, price going up. That's bearish. We have all of these bearish divergences. That's bearish. On the weekly, we are overextended. So, I'm just going to put like little slashes. So we have one with the price action, 2 with the divergences, 3 with the weekly overextension, I think what else? I'm sure there's 100 other indicators, so I'm just going to put 4. We'll just put 5, right? We'll just put a 5 marks of, hey, probably shouldn't take a long. And this is where a lot of people on Twitter are like, oh, well, you said that you were bearish. For like, no, guys, first of all, I'm not bearish. I've never really been bearish. I'm just saying, hey, we're looking for an opportunity to long. We're looking for a trade setup. For everyone that thinks trading is just buying and selling, that's not what it is. You have to do risk metrics. You have to analyze. What's in front of you, what you can work with. You have to look for validation points and reversals. You have to look for any points where an invalidation can occur. You have to draw, your typical support and resistance. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just, oh my God, you told everyone to short here and now you're telling people no, that's not what I was doing. And actually, I did take one short. We took one short. It was right here because we thought that this was a potential head and shoulders. The volume on the way up from here to here is bearish. So in my mind, hey, all of that is bearish. We also had to sell the news event, right? We had the ETF getting approved. ETF gets approved. We dump right after. I figured, hey, this is probably the follow-up from that. We'll go back down to like the 30s, maybe 35, load up some more there, maybe some more spot, look for a potential trade, whatever. Was wrong. It happens. Fundamentally, we pumped, right? Or here, let me reword that. We pumped based on fundamentals, which fundamentals, you get into long-term investing. BlackRock was buying 10,000 Bitcoin every day for the last 40 days. Okay, that causes a supply shock. You don't get that on a chart. You don't get, the chart doesn't tell you there is a supply shock about to happen. We're about to pump. On my chart and the indicators I use, they showed bearish. And I know there's going to be those hindsight people that are saying, oh, well, you should learn a new system. Like, no, go fuck yourself, because I've been trading with this system longer than you've even known Bitcoins existed. So that kind of shit is just total bullshit. We pumped based on fundamentals. There's no metric or measurement you can use. There's no defined risk that you can take. It just is what it is. I was wrong and I accepted that. And I've had this idea the whole time. I bought between 15 and 25K. If I miss a move going to the upside, did I really miss it? Because I'm still catching those gains on those spot holdings. You're 5'4". Okay. So we got just some guy being an idiot. What are you, bro? A transformer? No, he's just a jackass. He's just looking for attention. It is what it is. So speaking of 4 hour, trading mindset, got a lot of bearish reasons here. So personally, I'm not looking for that long. I'm really on the trading side, I'm really expecting something like this, where we get that big range that turns into a bull flag. We get some kind of reversal on an hour 1 or an hour 4 chart, and then we can look to long. Now, long-term investment wise, we've got BlackRock. BlackRock's buying. So this is, bear. We'll just put, fortunately, bear and bull both start with a B. We'll just put BE and then BU. So we have 5 bearish reasons we trade, on the trader side, not to take longs. So on the bullish side, you got BlackRock buying. You've got Bitcoin breaking all-time highs. You've got $6 trillion in sideline capital. You've got retail not even realizing what's happening in the crypto space. You have equities breaking all-time highs. You have a massive AI tech boom. You have there's hundreds of reasons. I can keep reading them off. I usually keep a list here. Rate reductions, proxy wars, markets are easier to access. Rich people have the most money of all time. There's the largest wealth transfer of all time. So there's hundreds of reasons to be bullish long term. And that's where you have to separate those two mindsets. Yes, long term, I am very bullish. I'm going to continue to be very bullish. But when I tweet a 4-hour time frame that says, hey, there are some divergences. Hey, there are some volume issues here that don't support the current trend. That's what I'm referring to. Yeah, war is very bullish for Bitcoin. War is very bullish for any asset, by the way. War ultimately stimulates economies. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So let's talk Bitcoin dominance, and then we'll get out of here. So a couple things, guys. I'd really like to see Bitcoin dominance continue moving higher, ultimately breaking this range, starting to head upwards, maybe breaking the next range. Now, for a lot of you, you're like, well, I thought you're buying alts. Why do you want Bitcoin dominance to rise? So here's the thing. The more that Bitcoin dominance rises, with Bitcoin rising, the larger alts are going to move when that liquidity shift happens. It happens every single bull market, right? As soon as this trend starts to take that downturn and we see that liquidity shift, alts are going to absolutely crush in gains. So for now, you might say, hey, don't you want to buy Bitcoin? Bitcoin's rising. Technically, you're right? But let's say Bitcoin tops out at 180K. You're looking at a 2.5x total. If Bitcoin goes to 180K during this time period, right, whatever dominance is rising, let's say it gets to 220K total as dominance is starting to slow down and we're starting to see that alt season. What do you think alts are going to do as people are taking their profits from Bitcoin and moving them into alts? Right? If one Bitcoin costs $200,000 and they swap one Bitcoin for, what is that, 2 million Crow or whatever, Crow's going to absolutely moon, just like we see every single alt season. Same thing happens with Ethereum. People take their money from Bitcoin, put it in Ethereum. Like, I could easily see a $10,000 to $15,000 Ethereum, right? And now Ethereum's approaching the levels where I wouldn't say to buy. You're probably better off buying Crow or buying Sand or Mana, just because these things haven't moved. Not moved at all, right? Doge has kind of moved some. Gala's moving some, right? Not a ton. Crow is hardly moved, just now breaking its bottom range. These are the things you want to buy if you're not in anything. Now, I still have Bitcoin and I still have a bunch of Ethereum, but I'm not going to buy any more of that because the risk reward is not there, or it's not as high as some of these other altcoins. Am I in any shitcoin positions? I guess Dogecoin. I have a bunch of Doge. I don't know. It depends what you classify as shitcoin anymore. Yeah, every pullback is just another chance to buy it. Exactly. Yeah, and BlackRock is not buying to break even. They're buying to make a ton of money. So, all right, guys, I'm going to end it there. Real quick, if you're new, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday around this time between like here and 5 p.m. Eastern. And with all that said, be patient.